In the UK, 80% of buildings that will exist in 2050 have already been built. And by 2050, the effects of climate change will have continued to increase, bringing more extreme weather, greater risk of flooding, and hotter, drier summers. To ensure that our towns and cities are resilient to these extremes, we need to adapt, redesign, and retrofit our offices, shops, warehouses, and homes. Nature-based solutions can make a significant contribution to urban resilience, reducing surface water flooding and providing shade and insulation. The advantage of green solutions over more traditional hard engineered ones is that they can provide so much more, from increased property value to improved employee well-being. In the UK, planning and development legislation mandates nature-related requirements for new buildings and developments, such as biodiversity net gain and the incorporation of sustainable drainage systems, or SuDS. There are no such requirements for our existing building stock. So if we are to restore, enhance, increase, and protect nature in our towns and cities, we need to find innovative ways to retrofit and redesign our buildings to create resilient, vibrant, green communities. Through this workshop, we will briefly look at the opportunities for installing nature-based solutions, the evidence behind nature-based solutions, how to build a business case for this, wider benefits of nature-based solutions, tools and resources, and we'll also hear from a couple of case studies, Brentwood's smart blue-green roof on the block building, and Groundwork and Avison Young's plans for Swinton Shopping Centre. This will be a whistle-stop overview, and for those of you watching online, please do visit ignitiongm.com to find out more about the evidence base, our resources, and our case studies. Hopefully, many of you will have had the chance to visit the Living Lab at the University of Salford, either in person or through our online virtual tour. This is the perfect example of where an existing building has had almost every possible type of nature-based solution retrofitted. Depending on the building type and location, there are a whole range of NBS that can be considered. Simple planters, which capture water from downpipes, SuDS-enabled trees, rain gardens, community spaces, green roofs, both small and large, blue-green roofs, green walls, small, large, or even on the roof. One of the first steps of the Ignition project was to carry out a rapid review of existing scientific evidence surrounding the benefits of nature-based solutions. The project compiled evidence from over 1,000 sources to create an accessible resource. The Ignition evidence base on urban nature-based solutions will continue to be an open source live repository of knowledge on NBS performance. The NBS covered were green roofs, green walls, sustainable drainage systems or SuDS, urban parks and green spaces, and street trees. And the benefits cover key climate resilience factors, such as water quantity and temperature, as well as economic and social drivers, such as property value and economic growth. The breadth of research compiled provides a large body of evidence to back up the economic, social, and environmental drivers for investing in NBS. When all benefits are considered together, the evidence base shows that the payback of nature-based solutions far surpass their non-green alternatives. The 5 evidence bases themselves have been translated into headline summary reports, a business-facing report, and a local authority-facing report. Their purpose is to help inspire confidence in business leaders, investors, and local authorities to increase their use of NBS to deliver greater outcomes for business, society, and the environment, and to provide the basis for the development of internal business cases. The business report also includes indicative costs for installing NBS. One of the challenges recognised by the project is that costs vary considerably dependent on location, existing infrastructure, ground conditions, and necessary design factors. However, the cost information included will help to provide an initial assessment of the possible costs that any NBS retrofit could incur. Having identified the potential types of NBS you could install, assess the possible benefits and associated costs, the important fact is to summarise where your business will see financial savings or returns. Much of this information can be pulled from the evidence base and we can split these into 4 key categories: direct savings, indirect savings, income sources, and mitigated risk. With indirect savings, if retrofitted carefully, there is potential for MBS to provide direct financial savings. For example, currently United Utilities charge for wastewater on an area-based charging mechanism. If you can reduce the amount of hard standings, such as buildings and parking areas that drain into the wastewater network, it is potentially possible to move down a charging band, making annual savings on your water bill. For example, redirecting the downpipes at Shore Heath Health Centre in Stockport into a newly built rain garden rather than into the drains enabled them to move down a charging band and make annual savings of over £1,000 a year. SuDS also provide a way of capturing and storing water for on-site use for irrigation and site maintenance, reducing the amount of drinking water used for these purposes. Installing green roofs and walls can provide insulation for buildings, reducing electricity spend on both heating and cooling of buildings, another source of direct savings, and also a way of reducing energy use and subsequently helping with progress towards net zero. A living green wall can provide 15% savings in energy use for cooling, and green roofs can provide nearly 7% savings. Alongside these direct savings, installing nature in workplaces can provide significant benefits to employee productivity and well-being. In 2021, the ITC produced a toolkit looking at the power of nature for employee well-being. There is a growing body of evidence surrounding this, showing, for example, a 15% increase in worker productivity when office spaces are enhanced with plants. Employees with views of trees and landscapes took an average of 11 hours less sick leave per year than employees with no view. This equates to an average saving of around £1,600 per employee. Alongside these savings in absenteeism, employees are looking at organisations that both invest in climate change and provide positive work environments. The installation of functional and attractive green space improves recruitment and retention of employees. As well as direct and indirect savings, installing appealing nature-based solutions can provide new or increased income streams. Evidence shows up to a 50% increase in willingness to spend on products whilst in the presence of street trees in central business districts, and up to 50% increase in restaurant patronage due to street trees. There is also evidence to support a 40% increase in commercial trading rates after investment in well-planned green spaces. With an innovative approach and appetite for diversification, transforming areas or aspects of a business premises into green space also brings opportunity for new income streams. For example, creating a green rooftop cafe on an unused roof space. And finally, looking at mitigating business risks through the installation of nature-based solutions. As climate change brings increased risk of flooding, some existing premises will be in areas of extreme flood risk, meaning risk to premises and employees. In the most at-risk areas, this could lead to the risk of stranded assets, which careful installation and management of nature-based solutions should mitigate, as well as increasing property value. And as the government continues to build on existing legislation around natural capital, taking a proactive approach to restoring nature and improving climate resilience through the installation of MBS enables businesses to proactively stay ahead of future legal requirements. Additionally to these business benefits, nature-based solutions provide significant environmental and social benefits, which are relevant both from the perspective of corporate purpose and ESG reporting. These include air and water quality, noise, enhanced biodiversity, and improved economic growth and community and social value. And we'll hear a little bit more about that in our case study from Squinting Shopping Centre. This has been a whistle-stop tour through the building blocks of developing your own internal business case for investing in nature-based solutions on properties you own, manage, or rent. And I've mentioned a lot of resources as I've gone on. The majority of these are available on ignitiongm.com, including the evidence base and associated resources, the Green Roof Benefit Calculator, the reports for both business and local authorities. Additionally, the ITC has 2 toolkits, one looking at the power of nature for employee well-being, and one at providing an introduction to greening your workspace. UKGBC also has a significant and growing resource bank for businesses looking at nature-based solutions. And finally, a couple of other useful resources are Syria's BEST tool, a benefits estimation tool for SuDS, and the sector-specific SuDS guides that were developed by Syria, the ITC, and Robert Bray Associates for the GLA, which are tailored to a London audience, but the majority of the content is relevant for all towns and cities. We will now look at two case studies where nature-based solutions have been applied or planned. Firstly, we will look at Swinton Shopping Centre, a project that was co-funded by Ignition and delivered by Groundwork, Greater Manchester and Aberson Young. Swinton Square, formerly known as Swinton Shopping Centre, is a district shopping centre which has been the focal point of the local community for over 45 years and was originally the town centre. The centre is home to several high street retailers, as well as a range of independent stores and services, and a market area houses several permanent food and beverage kiosks. Alongside the shops, there are a variety of leisure facilities, with Swinton Pool Hall offering crown green bowling, pool tables and a gym. And there are also 13 residential units located above the ground floor retail unit. The Greening Swinton Square project aims to demonstrate how nature-based solutions can be an integral part of the design of town centres. By delivering more than just greening, NBS can contribute to climate and nature outcomes, whilst also improving the vibrancy of town centres. The aim of the project is to deliver a physical showcase of what can be achieved, backed up by impact data, by improving the frontage of retail units, improving the shopping experience for customers, and embedding nature-based solutions designed to deliver both climate mitigation and increased connection with nature. Greening Swinton Square has engaged various community stakeholders on the topic of NBS, what they are, how they can be used, and the benefits they can bring. Following a series of engagement activities, Groundwork and Aberson Young have started to work with residents, business owners, and shopping centre visitors to co-design several NBS installations, such as living walls, green roofs, and rain gardens. Installation by the Groundwork team will start in spring 2022 and will be split across two phases. The first phase will cover 642 square metres and 5 units, and the second phase will cover 230 square metres and 20 units, and both phases are due for completion by the end of April. To understand the social and economic impact of the project, customer surveys are being carried out before and after installation to look at the perceptions of amenity value, health and well-being, and impact on shopping behaviour. Chris Whetstone is Associate Director at Commercial Real Estate Managers and Advisors, Aberson Young, who are working with Groundwork to deliver the project.
Swinton Square has been a fascinating project for Aberson Young, and we're delighted to be working in partnership with Groundwork Greater Manchester and Ignition. It's been a very effective partnership where the public, private, and the charity sector have come together to make a positive difference, all bringing diverse specialisms and perspectives. The shopping centre itself is a vital hub for the people of Swinton, and our centre management team work hard to achieve the best mix of tenants, events, and facilities to ensure we have the right offer for the local community. But faced with global challenges such as climate change and biodiversity loss, it's incredibly important that we also help transform the shopping centre, making it greener and making it more sustainable. And that means conserving natural resources. It means creating habitats, lowering our emissions, and restoring natural beauty to the local community. Crucially, nature-based solutions do far more than just contribute to climate and nature outcomes. As we've heard, they can deliver wider economic and social benefits, which help improve the vibrancy of town centres. And they can create opportunities for more community uses while also improving the shopping or dining experiences for customers. And we've seen strong evidence of this. And the project has been warmly received by local stakeholders, in particular businesses, the residents, visitors, and also the council. At Swinton Square, we're hoping to measure some additional co-benefits, such as local employees enjoying an improved work environment and the local community having pride in their local shopping centre. Also some knock-on benefits, such as reduced antisocial behaviour maybe, improved air quality and reduced temperature levels on some of the buildings hosting the new green infrastructure. We're also seeking to gather evidence on the economic benefits for the local businesses in terms of customer willingness to spend and changes in footfall. But it's not simply a matter of measuring these benefits at the end of the project. And we've come to realize having a strong knowledge of nature-based solutions are needed at all stages of the project lifecycle. One vital ingredient for obtaining project approval was to demonstrate the commercial benefits of the project at the proposal stage. This type of project can easily be evaluated from a traditional cost perspective. However, more importantly, we needed to show our client, the landlord, how to measure the nature-based solutions based on business and social benefits to the local area, benefits that might not be immediately quantifiable. Thanks to Ignition's nature-based solutions evidence-based tool, we were able to gain access to an extensive information base on a variety of nature-based solutions. In that tool, it has details of rain gardens, street trees. It tells us about climate change impacts, such as flooding events and heat waves, as well as tackling social environmental challenges, such as poor air quality. At Swinton, one issue that we had to alleviate was the cost and resources needed to maintain the nature-based solutions post-completion. To assist us, Groundwork and Ignition very kindly provided maintenance cost models and information about the choice of products on the market, which were less maintenance intensive. And Groundwork also showed our project team around the living lab at Salford University with its interconnected nature-based solutions. So supported with these resources, we were able to reassure the landlord of the project's long-term viability and obtain approval. Another big business driver for the project has been our desire to test the theory of social value delivery. Social value is one of the hottest topics in the construction and property sector, with various definitions and delivery techniques being used. And we've been working closely with the UK Green Building Council as one of several social value programme partners. And our role has been to test the social value framework on a live project, Swinton, and report back our experiences, our successes and challenges. And our findings, alongside the feedback from other programme partners, has been used to create a detailed social value delivery guide. But for me, the most important project outcome for Winchester Square will be its legacy. At the present time, only 3% of global climate finance is spent on nature-based solutions. Imagine what could happen if that were to rapidly increase. And it's important to figure out how we can take these simple nature-based solutions, demonstrate they work, and encourage more professionals in the built environment to invest in these. And it's our hope that Winchester Square will prove the commercial case for investment. And as such, it has potential to be rolled out anywhere nationally. And Ignition has helped us achieve this, not only with grant funding, but providing wider research and providing us with an evidence base.
And finally, we have another case study from Bruntwood. Bruntwood has supported Ignition since the start, and one of the projects they have completed in the last year, alongside United Utilities, is the installation of a smart blue-green roof on the block building in central Manchester. This short video gives an overview of the business drivers and the technical installation.
Block is part of our £50 million Pioneer investment programme, where we're developing the most innovative workspace in our cities. The idea is that we're embedding 6 key pillars into our design, and part of that is sustainability and biodiversity. And we thought that because of those 2 key pillars, the blue-green roof would fit perfectly into our Block ambitions.
The idea of this is to set the principle that Bruntwood and United Utilities can look at this roof to see how successfully it's running, they have the data, and then also with the Manchester Council is to actually influence future development to use these types of systems as a way of adaptation to climate change.
We have to work out our calculations so that the water discharges ahead of the storm, which is different to every other project, which generally discharges at the same time as the storm or after the storm. So the idea would be that the smart system, this roof will be empty when the storm comes and has that capacity take the storm without any discharge, which is reversing the current method of design.
So what's been installed today is the Permavoid squared system with passive irrigation cones. Permavoid's ideal because it's a shallow attenuation system, so load on any roof is a very critical thing. With a retrofit roof, your parameters are set, so we have what we have in terms of the roof's ability to handle the load of the water that we'll have on here and the substrate itself. The beauty of a blue-green roof is you don't need a lot of outlets. Your whole aim is to reduce the amount of outlets you have. So a lot of the outlets on this roof are being converted into overflows, and the ones we don't need have been blocked.
So today is a really busy day today. We're laying the wildflower mats that's been grown at a site in Sheffield. This has been cultivated for about 12 months and it arrived today on a pallet, and we've got it on the roof as quickly as possible. It's a very hot sunny day today, so we're laying it on top of a layer of substrate which we've specially selected and laid last week, and then we're watering it in to make sure that the wildflower gets established nice and quickly. A blue-green roof like this can also help improve the biodiversity of the area, where before there was nothing. We've now created a meadow in essence in the middle of a city, and this is going to help pollinators, bees, butterflies, even birds actually have a small habitat where they can go get food, maybe even nest. And one in particular, the blue butterfly, which Manchester's really trying to attract back to the city. So it's really important to get the substrate and the plants exactly right on a green roof, because it's an extremely harsh environment. We've got a real mixture of loads of different plants. So we've got wild yarrow here with the lovely white flower, and you can see the bees and butterflies are loving it already. We've also got sedums based at the bottom, and we've even got some nice Mediterranean style herbs. So that's a real nice mixture of all these different species.
So why the polysync system is so smart is the fact that this level data feeds straight into the Kisters cloud. This live sensor data is then connected to the weather data. This is then fed into an optimization, and in that optimization we're working out how much water should be in this tank based off the rules set. We want to capture any kind of heavy rainfall events, hold that water up and basically reuse it when we get droughts.
At United Utilities in the northwest, unfortunately, we do face times of too much water and also too little water. Something that's really important to us is quite clearly securing water sufficiency and improving wastewater capacity. To see the transformation is amazing today, because when we came it was just another roof space. It was just very grey, not a lot there. It was just a space, quite frankly. But now when you go up today and you see the transformation, it's no longer a space, it's a place. You know, it's something that's beautifully biodiverse. It's something where people can go and enjoy the health and well-being benefits as well that blue-green infrastructure provides. So it's just fantastic to see. It's really important that more initiatives like this happen. Personally, I'd like to see it become more and more mainstream. How do we make it that this sort of thing is considered in all building works? You only have to look at what's happening now in Greater Manchester. You see there's an awful lot of building works going on. So it feels like a fantastic opportunity. We can't always just build our way out of trouble. So opportunities like this help us think a little bit differently.
It ticks, lots of different boxes, right through from mental well-being to energy performance to biodiversity, to supporting or reducing the effects of climate change. So there's lots of different things. If you can do it, why wouldn't you do it?
Thank you so much for joining us today for this session. To access the tools and resources mentioned, please visit www.ignitiongm.com.